Morning, friends. Welcome, welcome. Probably need to adjust my camera a bit here, so stand by. But welcome to another Sunday. I am SJ, I am here for yarn. And in a little bit, there will be a D&D recap, because we had a session last week that, some stuff happened. You know. And end of an arc. Probably deserves some going over. So we'll get to that in a little bit. In the meantime, I have bread to eat. So I guess I'll eat bread first. Not for stream, this is just my breakfast that I didn't quite get to. So yeah, hopefully everyone's having a good Sunday so far. Please stand by while I nom breakfast quickly, and then we'll get on to yarn. Which says that my stream strength is unstable, which is silly because I'm plugged in via Ethernet. So if we start having any problems, please let me know. But I swear to God, I am plugged in via Ethernet this time, so I don't know what could be causing it. Unless it's just Twitch. Apologies, I know this doesn't make for a very exciting start of stream, but this bread is too good for me to let it go stale, so just enjoy ducks for a few minutes. Okay. Ooh, time for new Carby. Cute, cute. Uh-oh, something's got Kitsune excited and or frightened. Ah, Carby's eyes staring into your soul. Well, my apologies. Maybe just, like, prop a little card up over that part of the screen. And I'm sure they don't want your soul for anything nefarious, so it's probably fine. Okay, so... Oh no. Kara. Oh, I don't even know if she's in chat. My crochet hook is downstairs. I brought everything I needed except my stupid crochet hook. Do I on my sewing tray? Oh, I might actually. Let's see if this is the right size. No, that's too small. Ooh. Well, everybody stand by and watch ducks for a moment longer. I need to go get my crochet hook. Alright. Fired the correct crochet hook. Sorry. Apologies. Okay. Crochet hook acquired. Even the right one. Alright, so I have been doing some work on this since the last time I streamed it. We now have the entire Crest of Light complete. She is fully done. The top point is fully done. We've got the Crest of Light. Further over, we have the Crest of Hope. The Crest of Hope is almost done. Crest of Hope requires 2 more rows for the top point here of the very top gray, but it is very close to done. And starting on the next row, we'll be adding more colors to start other crests, which is exciting. So, just get my pattern set up here. There we go. All right. Finished up. I did. On the end of a row over here. Hello, Kara. And good morning, Randus. Gosh, you're up early. Have you actually been to bed? I really hope the answer is yes. Now we flip this. Oh no, Kara. Honey, do you need to go back to bed for an hour? Or do I just need to, like, wrap you in bubble wrap? We have some bubble wrap. A bunch came in that package that Jade had. We could wrap you in bubble wrap for the day. You did sleep? Well, my goodness, you're up early. Well, welcome in anyway. That said, I'm not entirely sure if this will be a full 4-hour stream or not. My voice has been a little bit iffy the past couple days. Coming down with a little bit of something. So, we'll see how the D&D recap goes. But if I'm starting to wane by the end of it, I may end up calling stream a bit early. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. But yeah, D&D recap is definitely happening. At the top of the hour as usual. Because some exciting things happened last week. Other exciting things that happened not in the world of D&D. So last Friday, so not 2 days ago, but like a week and 2 days ago, we woke up in the morning and Sasha was not steady. She was like stumbling around, like she looked like a little drunken sailor. She could not walk a straight line, which in a cat is immediately concerning. Like, we were pretty sure it wasn't anything super serious, because, like, she was still acting like herself. She was still, like, she was still hungry, she was still eating, she was still drinking, she was just, like, super unbalanced. So, obviously, we need to get her into the vet, but we weren't, like, completely freaking out quite. So we took her to the vet, and sure enough, she has an inner ear infection. Along with possibly a sinus infection. The vet wasn't sure if maybe she got the sinus infection first and it moved into her ears, or the other way around. But regardless, she has an inner ear infection that is giving her tiny kitty vertigo, which honestly sucks. So she's been on antibiotics, and she's been on eardrops, which she hates. And she is much better. Like, even, like, she's pretty steady now. She's not really falling over at all. But, of course, she's still on the antibiotics for a while longer. She's still on the eardrops for another couple days. She's got to follow up with her regular vet later this week. Just to make sure everything is healing up as it should. But yeah, the poor baby has been just falling over herself all week. It's been really sad. And it's one of those things where I feel bad for laughing at her, but at the same time, it's really funny. She's clearly very annoyed at the fact that she can't walk a straight line. Although, like I said, she's much better now. She is doing much better. And she just eats her antibiotic pill like it's a treat. I just can kind of put it down in front of her and she goes, "Oh, thank you," and like chomps it down. So that's fun. It's convenient for us. It means I don't have to like shove a pill down her throat. But she hates the eardrops, which, you know what, fair. I also hate eardrops and I understand why I have to have them sometimes. Yes, I could totally do this if I wanted to. I just don't want to right now. Exactly. So yeah, she's been extra cuddly because she's not feeling well. So she may come up and decide to hang out. She may not. She may decide that she wants to stay in a ball on the couch, which is totally fair. So that's been the exciting, not even drama, that's been the excitement this week, is just like trying to make sure Sasha doesn't hurt herself trying to jump on and off things. Because for a couple days there, anytime, because she still, I don't think she was really in pain. I think she still felt okay, except for being dizzy. So she would still like try to jump up and like on the couch, and every single time she would just fall. Like every time she tried to jump off the couch, she would land and then just eat shit. It was really sad. We were like trying to keep her from moving around too much, but sometimes she was just not having it. At one point, she like fell over in the litter box, which it was fine. She didn't end up messy or anything, but she came walking back over and was just covered in litter dust. It was really sad. I felt really bad for her. So yeah, definitely an exciting week. getting big enough. It's awkward to handle. So light is completely done. I have completely finished light. She is tied off. She is done. Hope has 2 more rows on it, just to put the final point on the top. And actually this next row I will be adding the yarn for kindness, and the row after that I'll be starting in on reliability. The crests were arranged quite deliberately. So the 3 at the top of the blanket will be courage, love, and friendship, which are like kind of the 3 main, quote-unquote main characters, sort of, if anyone in the ensemble can really be main. And then the 2 at the bottom that I've already finished are hope and light, because those are paired together. And then the 4 in the middle, sincerity, reliability, knowledge, and kindness, I arranged for color, basically, so that the colors would balance top to bottom and side to side, because kindness and knowledge are similar colors. They're in like opposite corners, and then sincerity and reliability are on the other 2. So it'll look good, I think. And yeah, I arranged it so that kindness is grouped at the bottom, kind of with hope and light. But yeah, it'll work out well, I think. And the pinks for kindness, light, and knowledge, sort of. Knowledge is kind of a purpley, are sort of spread out so that they're balanced across the blanket. Courage and friendship are the main, hope and light are the secondary, and the others are there. Yeah, that's fair. I put love at the top with friendship and courage because, I guess for shipping reasons, Sora is often grouped in with Tai and Yamato. So I put her up there, and again, it works for color balance. Because the triangle, exactly, yes. Look, Tai Chi has 2 hands. It's so funny because I was into Digimon as a kid. Like, I was watching Digimon as a 14-year-old who was super into the shipping and like the fandom and the shipping wars and everything else. And there were indeed shipping wars, believe me. And it was so funny because as a kid, I was very much like, yes, this is the ship. Like, this is, I will go down with this ship and everybody else is wrong and all that. And now as an adult, I'm like, but Tai Chi has 2 hands though. What if just threesome? What if poly? Although I still maintain that Sora needs to keep her distance until Tai Chi and Yamato have whatever the heck they have going on figured out between the 2 of them. Yes, exactly. Exactly, kits. Alright. Turn. Like, alright, now that you two have sorted yourselves out. More or less. It's that. Fair. Brandis, you're lucky I'm using the English names for the crests, because I'm used to using the Japanese. Although, admittedly, that is very confusing. Because most of them are the same, except for Mimi's and Joe's, which they decided to use. It's complicated. So, technically, don't actually know the Japanese names for the crest. Okay, so most of them are the same. Like, no questions, no concerns. Mimi's crest would be probably better translated as the crest of purity, but in English, the word purity has different connotations than what the word in Japanese does. So in Japanese, it gives a sense of like innocence, or not like naivete, but in a positive way. Whereas in English, purity, we tend to think of someone being like, you know, puritanical, which is not what it is. So I can see why they changed that one. Sincerity does work, sort of. The problem is that Joe's crest in Japanese, the Japanese word probably would also be best translated as sincerity. Actually, it would probably be best translated as earnestness. So I can see why they chose reliability, but it's not, again, it's not quite right. I would have probably gone with earnestness if earnest was a word that we used more often in English. So the fact that Joe's crest would be the crest of sincerity, but they decided to, because it's like earnestness. It's, you know, he's very forthright and very well-meaning and very earnest about everything he does. He's very sincere about everything he does. But the fact that they chose to give the word sincerity to Mimi makes it then complicated. But yeah, so technically in Japanese, Mimi's is purity and Joe's is sincerity. But then in English, they translated them as Mimi's is sincerity and Joe's is reliability, which, again, does work. So it's not, that's why I'm trying to use the English names for the crests, because they're not wrong. Again, there's like more direct translations, but they have weird connotations in English, so I can see why they made the changes they did. And the English crest names are not wrong. It's just confusing, since depending on what translation you're using, Joe and Mimi can both be called sincerity. Earnest and reliability, close enough. Yeah. I would say that the only reason I'm hesitant about reliability for Joe is, again, in English it has connotations of like responsibility that the original Japanese doesn't actually have. Again, it does work for Joe's character, since he does end up being very responsible as one of the older kids, but that connotation for his crest wasn't originally there. Honestly, you probably could have translated it as the crest of honesty. Honesty might have been a better fit than reliability, but still, here we are. Oh, the other one, which again, I don't have any qualms about them changing this really. It does still fit. Izzy's Crest of Knowledge. Again, this is just a little bit of a nuance. Izzy's Crest of Knowledge, in Japanese, it's the Crest of Curiosity. Which I can kind of see why they changed it, because knowledge feels a little bit more foundational. But his crest being curiosity in the Japanese is actually, like, I really like it because it gives a lot more nuance to his character and the fact that he's always asking questions. And in the Japanese, it's more about him wanting to know why as opposed to just wanting the facts, I guess, which is kind of how it comes across sometimes in English. It probably doesn't help that in English, sincerity is typically associated as a female trait. That is also true. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, hope is hope, light is light, kindness is kindness, love is love, friendship is friendship, and courage is courage. The rest of them are all the same. Yeah, exactly. One is seeking and one is possessing. And I feel like the change works for Izzy, but then it trips up in Cody in 02 because Cody having the crest of knowledge doesn't feel like it works, but Cody having the crest of curiosity does work. So I feel like that's kind of where the change kind of came back to bite them. Although Kara will die on the hill that Yoli should have had the crest of curiosity, which, you know what, fair enough, but still. Cody is not smart. He's wise. There's a difference. But yes, curiosity fits for him so much better than knowledge does. Because he's curious about the digital world. He wants to learn about the Digimon. He wants to find out what's going on. So yeah, curiosity fits for him really, really well in a way that knowledge just doesn't. Pardon me. She does, but that's because the two of them are the computer nerds, and so they spend a lot of time, like, working on stabilizing the gates and such, or, like, trying to track first the Kaiser, then the Spires. So they end up hanging out a lot just because they're the ones that are doing all the computer stuff. Okay. Flip this over. Yeah, doing computer shit. All of the necessary stuff. Exactly. All of the digital stuff in the digital world. Alright, reminder, in about 10 minutes we'll be starting the D&D recap, so if you need to, like, run to the bathroom, grab refills on your drinks, etc., do so. I see if I can remember what happened an entire week ago. Yes, actually, Rantis is completely right. Stuff and things happened. Okay, cool. Recap done. Now I need to actually pay attention to my pattern for a moment. then yarn. Here. So this is our yarn for kindness. A brighter pink. As befitting. Okay. Not to pull out the entire center of the yarn ball. There it is. Yeah. Fine. There for the moment. It'll be fine eventually as I use up all that yarn. Mildly annoying. Center pull balls are supposed to be convenient. Right. Now. Nice little tail on it. Alright. Immediately switch back to black. This is when the yarn barf becomes so inconvenient. Move this yarn ball back down here. Everything is fine. Mark my pattern here. Perfect. Okay. So. Repeating it doesn't make it more believable. Yes, it does. Everything is fine. Good morning, Merlin. Welcome in. You're just in time. I'm just starting the D&D recap. So, last time in our mini campaign, because remember, we are on Light's most excellent adventure into the Shadowfell with guest star party members. So last time we had managed to find the rest of our, well, most of the rest of our missing party members and come upon the site of some kind of a ritual in progress. However, we have failed to stop the ritual due to being too stealthy. Well, due to attempting to be too stealthy. And the assumed antagonist managed to stab whoever they were attempting to sacrifice. And lo, the lights went out, and the Shadowfell became even darker than it was previously, like, you know, pitch black, except for these glowing runes that are hanging out on the ground in, you know, some kind of a ritualistic circle. I'm sure it's fine. Leaving us with a stabbed body of who we now realize is the monk that we were sent to find from the abbey, and this Shadow Kai cleric person who did the stabbing. So, of course, we immediately roll for combat. Since we now have somebody making death saves. And we kind of start throwing everything we have at this cleric. A couple crossbow bolts that miss, a couple spells that hit. He casts Shadow Guardians, or Spirit Guardians, sorry. I mean, they probably are kind of shadowy considering who he is, but Spirit Guardians is the name of the spell. However, Karina is able to counter it. And, well, does she counter it? I think she counters it, doesn't she? Because she has to roll the check for it, but she does make it. So she's able to counter that spell. Oh, Dispel. That's right. Yes. That's correct. She didn't counter it at casting, but she did manage to dispel it later. And there's this nifty effect that's going on as we're, you know, kind of throwing everything we can at this cleric. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's a good point, Randus. Thank you. The traitor never actually does get gendered. So yeah, this cleric. Aurelo tries to fire a couple crossbow bolts, or longbow bolts, sorry. He does not have a crossbow, he has a longbow. Unfortunately, both of them miss. However, his goldfinch familiar primal companion, Goldie, is able to swoop in and deliver a critical hit slashing to the cleric. Go, Goldie, go. Light jumps down out of the tree and makes their way over. And they're able to do a flurry of blows that both damages the cleric and also, with their healing boop, is able to restore some hit points to our poor stabbed monk, so that she is no longer in danger of dying immediately. However, then this nifty thing happens where the runes that are, you know, still in this, you know, glowing circle, the runes kind of flare, and Randus rolls a dice where evens was inside the circle, odds was out. And lo and behold, everybody standing inside the circle took some damage. Unfortunately, including the poor sacrifice that had just regained a few HP. She immediately lost them again and began making more death saves. I'm sure it's fine. Make sure I'm counting. Okay, one more black. I switch. I need to make sure I don't get so into the D&D recap that I lose what I'm doing and mess up my pattern here. So that's unfortunate. Although, it is noted that the Shadow Kai cleric is also taking damage from this, so they are not immune, despite being the one who enacted this ritual. So they take some damage from that. I believe Karina is able to hit them with a guiding bolt, which does a little bit more. And eventually, through various attacks, I don't think I'm missing anything terribly large. Oh, and Rhea also transforms into her wolf form to do some biting, which is exciting. But through various attacks, we are able to wear the cleric down. And again, the ritual the layer effect that was put in place by the ritual definitely helps us out in that. I mean, it damages us too, but it's also damaging them, so I'm sure it's fine. But you know, it's kind of funny as the rounds of combat go on. The runes seem like they're flaring like brighter and brighter, and they're kind of doing more damage. Like, you know, the first time it hit, it was 1d4, and then the next time it hit, it was 2d4. But we managed to take the cleric down, so the cleric kind of collapses where they're standing in the midst of the circle. We managed to pull Elendir, who is the monk that we were sent to find. We managed to pull her out of the circle, restore a few more hit points to her. Oh, interesting. No, you didn't actually explain that. Okay, so the reason that everyone takes the damage is that wasn't actually an effect of the ritual. That was the Shadowfell and also the Raven Queen trying to expel an infection. Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, you had neglected to explain that bit. That's cool. So yeah, so everybody is taking damage from that. The cleric we managed to take the cleric down. They collapse inside the circle. We managed to pull our monk ally out of the circle, restore more hit points to her again, get her kind of woken up. However, as we're like trying to stabilize her and like talk to her and like ask her what's going on and is she okay, can she hear us, she's not responding to anything. Like, her eyes are open but nobody's home. She's just kind of staring into the distance. The word Randus used was catatonic. Like, she's not there. She's not responding. Which, I'm sure that's a problem. However, a bigger, more immediate problem is the fact that these light runes are still flaring, and we kind of realize, like, okay, let's try to get Light tries to pull the cleric's body out of the circle, thinking maybe that's like anchoring the ritual somehow. Maybe if we get them outside the circle, maybe that'll, you know, break something or dispel something. Well, unfortunately, like, Light's able to move their body, but when it hits like the edge of the runes, it's almost like it hits a wall. Like, we cannot physically pull the cleric's body outside of this circle of runes. And we can't really break the circle of runes either, because it's not like maybe you've been picturing runes that are like etched into the ground or like carved into the stone. No, they're not physical runes. They're kind of like floating maybe an inch off the ground, just kind of these lines of pure light that are like just kind of floating there. So we can't really like break them somehow. So that's a problem. And it becomes even more of a problem very soon as this cleric's body kind of what word would I use? Perhaps immolates? Like, it kind of just starts, like, transforming immediately. Like, it starts, like, consuming itself and, like, becoming something new. And where this cleric's body had been laying, there rises up this, chain devil, where, imagine, like, a golem. Like, it is vaguely humanoid shaped, but it's like made out of wrapped and twisted and braided chains. So like its entire body is made of chains. There's like these glowing red eyes. It's got chains like hanging from its limbs. Sheds. Okay, that's a pretty good word. Yeah, the cleric's body just kind of sheds itself and this chain devil rises from inside it. And the rest of us all kind of go, oh fuck. But there's only one of it. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure we can take it down. It's totally fine, right? As if the meat suit was the devil's husk. Oh, perfect. Love that imagery. Thank you, Randus. Randus also had this really cool picture of the chain devil. So it's yeah, it looks very cool. It looks awful, but very cool. So we all kind of go, oh crap. And think of the order that things went in. So this chain friend, unfortunately, has an ability where it can, like, imagine, if you will, Spider-Man. You know how he can, like, shoot webs out of his hands, well, you know, out of his wrists, and, like, web up enemies and, like, wrap the web around them while it's still connected to him so he can, like, pull them closer? The chain devil can do that, except with chains. And so he does that, or they do that. I'm pretty sure the devil probably doesn't have a gender. It's made of chains. It's fine. So they do that. They shoot out these, like, spiked, barbed chains that, like, wrap around Aurelio and yank him closer. Yeah, there you go. Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. I couldn't remember exactly what the character was. Yeah, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat also. Get over here. And also Fleetwood Mac constantly plays. Oh no. I hope not. So Aurelio is immediately grappled and restrained. Pardon me. And then the devil can do it again, because they've got two arms, so they can, like, you know, shoot two grapples. So for the good measure, they also grapple Goldie. However, Aurelio is able to break out of that. Pretty easily. He switches to his giant size form. And Goldie is also able to wiggle out of the bindings. Yeah, chain devil. Like, devil made of chains. The rest of us are trying to fight this thing. Rhea transforms from her wolf form into this really cool, like, starry form, where if you play Final Fantasy XIV, she's basically playing Astrologian, where she has, like, this starry, like, star elemental sort of form, that allows her to cast more healing spells and emit a healing aura. So she does that to try to keep the rest of us alive while we're battling with this chain devil. Light goes in and does Light, Light tries to go in and do some punchy punch. However, the devil, like, meets Light's eyes, and Light fails a wisdom save against trauma. You know, as one might do. So poor Light becomes a teensy bit frightened of this devil, but, you know, they've still got their item that lets them do the long range punches. That tattoo mark that they acquired quite a while ago. They've still got it, so they are able to do a few punchy punches, even though they can't make themselves move closer to this terrifying vector. Era is able to come in with her axe and strike it a couple times. Unfortunately, we discover that it is immune to slashing damage, but she does manage to knock it prone, which is fantastic. So she manages to knock this thing over. It does get back to its feet, and she tries to knock it over again, but it does not happen the second time, which, you know, it's fine. She managed it once. You know, count and make sure I'm not too far on this side of the pattern. So Karina, meanwhile, is kind of hanging back. She's a spellcaster anyway, and she's throwing a few spells at it. Ooh, okay, so she has 3 options for her. Rhea, rather, has 3 options for the starry form. Archer, which is single target damage. Chalice, which is the support and heals, which is the one that she chose. And then Dragon, which is AoE damage. That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, Light fails a save versus trauma is the story of Light's life. Pretty much, yes. However, one thing that I haven't mentioned in a lot of this is, remember how Light's dad is also hanging around? So he had climbed up a tree at the beginning of combat, well, right before the beginning of combat, to try to, like, keep an eye on things and scout around. And as combat broke out, he, you know, scuttled down the tree and came over to put himself between Light and the chain demon. And I had gotten up to use the bathroom and missed exactly what he cast on Light. But he was able to, you know, reassure Light and basically just be like, I'm here. Everything will be all right, my son. My child. Actually, no, he says my son, but in the context of, like, S-U-N, not S-O-N. So, like, my son, like my sunshine, my child, my little Light, which is adorable. But I had missed exactly what he cast, Randus. Light of my life. Aww, yeah. So he's able to cast something that helps to reassure and reinforce Light, and then puts himself between the Chain Devil and Light. But through a combination of magic and punchy punches and some resisted slashing damage, we managed to defeat this Chain Devil, and it kind of just collapses into rust and dust and bits of iron that just kind of clang to the ground and just immediately are just consumed in rust. And as it does, we all kind of like, okay, kind of breathing a sigh of relief. And however, the monk lady, Elendil, still hasn't reacted to anything or really moved or woken up. Karina's kind of been sticking by her and, like, keeping an eye on her, but she still isn't really reacting to anything, except once the Chain Devil dissolves, her eyelids are kind of fluttering a little bit. Like, she's still not reacting when Karina, like, tries to talk to her, but she's something is going on. And Light hears this voice in their mind that just says, "Come closer, my child." And they recognize the voice as being their mother's, but they get the sense that the voice is coming from Elendil, this monk. So they go over to Elendil and kind of kneel down beside her. And when they do, Elendil's eyes kind of properly focus on them. And she reaches up and, like, puts her hands on either side of Light's face. And basically just says, you know, exactly how did she phrase it? Basically, my God has deemed you worthy. My God has chosen you and you are worthy, kind of thing. And remember how Light's been kind of stuck in their, like, halfway rat form this entire time that they've been in the Shadowfell? So, as Dusk, who is their mother, as Dusk speaks these words, and, you know, their hands are on Light's face, the rat features that have been, you know, covering Light's form kind of just start peeling away, revealing the tabaxi underneath, the tabaxi that we have all come to know and love. So all of the rat features just kind of start dissipating away and reverting back to Light's normal tabaxi form. However, as you know, as this change takes place, and as their tail sort of finishes, you know, fluffing back up with the usual tabaxi fur, they feel like sort of an itching sensation on their back, like on their shoulder blades, and they feel like a weird sensation on their nose, like their nose is kind of becoming harder and like a little bit more pointed. And Light is no longer a were-rat. Light has been blessed by the Raven Queen, and Light is now a were-raven. And they're no longer affected by the full moon. They are fully in control of their changes. They can take on their halfway form at any time they like, along with the various, you know, benefits and things. Yeah, Light has now become a were-raven. And as this change takes place, the Light feels kind of their mother's presence leave, and then Elendil sort of opens her eyes and properly awakes and just kind of goes, oh, what? Oh, you know, sort of the startle awake sort of thing. And at that point, the ground kind of opens up underneath us all, and we all kind of feel that same, like, sucking sensation that we got when we entered the book, as we're all now pulled back out of the book again. And we all land back in the basement library of the library basement of the Abbey. All of us, Elendil, Mercy, who was his father's character that had gone off on their own, and also a smoking pile of armor. Like, there's a breastplate, there's some gauntlets, there's a helmet, and there's a pendant just kind of laying in a pile, gently smoking, that we kind of deduce is the remains of that Shadowkai cleric that they had entered through the book at some point too. And now what's left of them is being tossed back out along with the rest of us. However, unfortunately, Light's father does not come with us. He didn't enter through the book, so he's not able to leave through the book, essentially. So, unfortunately, despite our intentions and our wants for him to come with us, he is not pulled out of the book with us. But we're all back. We're all alive. Light is now a were-raven. And that's kind of where it ends. We kind of do a little epilogue for each of the characters. Era since she had made a map of the Shadowfell, once they get back to the Abbey, Era offers the map to Elendil and just kind of says, you know, I don't know what to do with this. What do you think we should do with this? And Elendil takes it and kind of folds it over and puts it into the book that we had used to enter the Shadowfell, and then closes the book and kind of seals it shut and just kind of basically says, you know, this isn't knowledge, you know, this map of the Shadowfell isn't knowledge that should be loose, that should fall into anyone's hands. So we'll seal it inside this book, and maybe at some point in the future it can be of use if somebody else needs to enter the Shadowfell this way, but otherwise the map will stay contained with this book. Which Era's totally cool with. She's like, yep, that's great. I made the map mostly for my own use because I didn't want to get lost while I was in there. That's totally cool. That works for me. Whatever you want to do with it. So that's settled. Era and Aurilo, and probably Rhea too, all end up joining the party to go take care of the vampire tree. To try to, because they were waiting on Light to get back so that Light could guide them to where the vampire tree is. So they head out with Light. Era kind of wants to swing by Falcon's hunting lodge because she's been there before, and having heard that he was the victim of a dragon attack and a boar attack and various other things, she's a little bit worried. But as they kind of approach Falcon's Lodge, they can see that, you know, they're still cleaning up. They're still trying to rebuild. Everything seems really hectic. And Era's just kind of like, you know what? I'll come back and visit in a year or two. Yeah. Aurilo and Era and Rhea probably hang out and travel together. A dragon attack, or, you know, 3 in one day. It's fine. I'm sure he's fine. Falcon's fine. But yeah, and Light, once Light is able to guide the gardeners to where the vampire tree needs to be dealt with, they make their way back toward Phandalin. And that is where they will meet back up with the rest of the party next session. So yeah, that was our little mini campaign. And since Randus outlined several of these, so above table, there were various things that could have happened to Light. Like, we knew that Light was going to be coming back regardless, but there were various things that could have happened to Light and various states Light could have been in at the point they returned to the party. And considering Randus, like, outlined a few of those, I think Light probably got the best outcome from this. Because there were various other things. Light could have been stuck in their halfway rat form forever. Light could have been basically back to how they were before, except their eyes stayed golden instead of dark. Trying to remember some of the others. But yeah, there were various other forms that Light's return could have taken. And I feel like having the were-rat traded out for were-raven was probably one of the best ones. Well, maybe not in the long run, depending on how Light feels about being marked by the Raven Queen. But, you know, that's a different problem for the future. But yeah, that's that. And so the chapter closes on this little mini campaign. Maybe these little side characters will show up at some point in the future, and maybe they won't. If they don't, I'm sure they're off having wonderful adventures on their own. Living their best lives. Oh, right, the fail case of TPK. So yeah, if we had TPK'd, there would have been more trauma and a full party revive at the cost of Light's soul. I mean, I'm sure it would have been a fun outcome in some sense of the word. Now I need to count things. Hang on. It's 12. 1, 2. There. Oh, also, if so, we kept healing Elendil and pulled her out of the circle. If she had died, like properly died, or been, I think, or if she had been unconscious at the point where the Chain Devil manifested, the Chain Devil would have taken over her body instead of the cleric's, and then we would have had to fight the Chain Devil and the cleric at the same time, which would have been way worse. So that's an exciting thing that I'm glad we avoided. Oh, interesting. Okay, so the devil would manifest in anybody that died in the circle on the next round after the death. Oh, neat. So if that had been one, it was most likely to be Elendil. But if that had been one of us, that would have also been bad. Neat. Curiosity, was the cleric able to leave the circle while still alive? Like, if we had done shenanigans with, like, I know we don't necessarily have access to it in this party, but, like, if there had been shenanigans with, like, telekinesis or lightning lure to, like, try to force the cleric out of the circle, or if the cleric had, like, willingly left the circle and there were no dead bodies in the circle, would that have broken the ritual? Or would it have just, like, continued in, I guess, quote-unquote, a ready state until such time as there is a dead body in the circle? Just out of curiosity. I'm always interested in how encounters like this get built. If there was no dead body within the ritual circle, it would have continued indefinitely. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. It would just be like, well, this Chain Devil is still kind of hanging around waiting. Eventually there will be a dead body in this circle. Neat. And I'm guessing that would have been really bad for us because the Raven Queen's damage pulses would have just kept continuing because she would have sensed that the ritual was still there. So all in all, the way it worked out for us was probably about the best it could have. I will say, Randus, I'm not sure I know I mentioned this to Kara, but I'm not sure I actually mentioned it in voice chat. Because you had the layer effect on the initiative tracker labeled as light or shadow, before the layer effect started happening, or before like we realized what it was doing, I was convinced it was like a timer, and that if we took too long, that light was going to be replaced by like a Shadow the Hedgehog character kind of thing. Like a Negalite named Shadow, or that they would like transform into like a shadow version of themselves. Yay, I can do math. I can count things. It's like, oh no, what happens to light if we take too long? I mean, my understanding is that Light's mother is a follower of the Raven Queen, and has now kind of... Is seduced the right word? Converted. Now kind of converted Light into a devotee of the Raven Queen, whether they want to or not. Which again, I'm sure will have no consequences in the future. Wait, and child? Hang on. Oh. Is that what happened? No, I think the implication is that when Light died in that orc attack, where the rest of the party still doesn't technically know that they died, Oh, I feel like Bale would have some things to say if the Raven Queen tried to claim Glint. I'm not sure Bale would be able to stop it, because I feel like Raven Queen probably outranks Fey Dragon, but Bale would not be happy. Yeah. So what I'm hearing from that is it's time for Glint to enter her edgy goth phase and rename herself Shadow. Yeah, Footfalls is probably my favorite. Footfalls, I'm actually very, very fond of Locus, which is one of the songs from the Alexander raids. And I also really like Oblivion, are probably my top three. I also actually really like Close in the Distance as a song. Not so much as field music, but as a song itself, I really like it. I also really like Dragon Song for what it is. For being the Ballad of Shiva and Hraesvelgr. It's a very well constructed song. I wouldn't say it's like one of my top favorites, but I do very much like it for... It serves the purpose that it needs to serve. Replay. Are you starting over? Aren't you almost at the end of Endwalker? Oh, yeah. Skipping back to D&D briefly. From discussions after the game, it has been determined that Rhea and Arilo and Era might just become a three-way item if any of them ever actually manage to realize they're flirting. I feel like this devolves into a case of Arilo, like, sadly shaking his head at these two oblivious girls before going, just kiss. It's cute. It's fine. Also, kids, if you do end up starting over, if you ever want help running duties, although MSQ is fairly soloable now with all the duty support and stuff, but if you ever want company, always happy to run things with friends. Especially if it means I don't have to run them with roulettes. Hey Kuma, good morning. You just missed the D&D recap. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for the 29-month resub. Much appreciated. Yeah, blanket. Thick and cozy blanket. This is why you VOD. Fair. Very fair. Ooh! Go for it if you want kits. And like I said, always happy to help out. Hooray! But I'm almost done with this row, but it is about break time. So I will go ahead and take my break. Everybody get up, stretch, move around, grab drinks, grab bathrooms. If you need to grab something to eat, please get something to eat. If you need to take meds, please take your meds. Stitch. There we go. Yeah, everybody get up and move around a little bit, and I'll be back in a few minutes. right. Back again. Ugh. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Ooh, lasagna sounds tasty. Yeah, if you're in November, I think that's, yeah, you're probably in us headed for the logging camp, eh? Preparing to fight the green dragon. And that was the last thing we did before current. Oops, sorry. Hair is creaky. There we go. Oh yes, so much cat hair. As is tradition. Walk into Taco Bell and order tacos. Heat level sauce packet are you grabbing? I am grabbing none because I'm allergic, which is, I feel, should be fairly obvious. Sometimes mild sauce I'm not allergic to, because usually if it's mild they don't put peppers in it, but I'm not willing to take that risk. If you meant just more broadly, I don't know. It's been too long since I've been to a Taco Bell. I should also mention, even if I wasn't allergic, I don't think there's a single Taco Bell anywhere in this city. Which is strange now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't think there's any Taco Bell here. Flip it. I mean, Kara never drank coffee until I got together with her, so... Exciting times, kid. Item number 2, cookies. Ooh, also exciting. What kind of cookies? Excellent. Are the cookies to console yourself after the review, or are the cookies to bribe the reviewer? Or are the cookies to lift your coworkers' spirits because of the review? Yes, and also a reward for all the hard work and late nights of prep. Aww. That's really nice of you. Yes. Hope everybody enjoys the cookie. Dark chocolate chip cookies sound delicious. You can't make cookies, you don't have butter? Oh no! I'll add butter to the shopping list then. Ooh, lack of butter. Have margarine? Margarine cookies are possible. I think we always used margarine when I was growing up, too. So much cheaper. I mean, it's still way cheaper. Fair, that makes sense. If you weren't supposed to be editing a video, lasagna is clearly more important. Get some art and laundry done. Yes, those both sound like excellent uses of a Sunday. The laundry in, and then art while the laundry is laundrying. It has abandoned D&D recaps for more D&D. It sure seems that way, yes. Like it. Yeah. Ah! Apologies. Much blanket. Yanked on the camera cord. Come here. Great background music. It is Animal Crossing music. Or it should be anyway. Unless YouTube has decided to do something weird. 1, 2, 5. 5. Hooray! I love when this stitch comes out correctly. Do I not listen to my own background music? I do not, because I don't have a pair of headphones that reaches that far. And also having headphones on for that long does tend to make my head start to hurt. So if I don't need to, I don't use it. headphones all day without thinking about it. That's fair. Yeah, a comfy pair of headphones. Find that the ones that actually the headset I have at work is quite nice. The headset I have at work I can usually wear for quite a while with no problems. The headset I have here at home is too heavy. And then my wireless earphones are too tight. Like they squeeze my ears too much. For like hours of wear. Wearing them for like a bus trip or whatever is fine. But it's like if I had to wear them for hours for like an entire stream, then that would become a problem. Gotta be cans for hours of wear. Yeah. I think that's the other problem. My wireless headphones, I think the cups on them are a little bit too small. So they sit on my ear instead of around my ear. The headset that I have is cans. Like it is big enough to go around my ear, but it's heavy. So that one, my ears are fine, but my neck starts to hurt after a while. But the headset I have at work is both cans and really light, so it's nice. It is wired, though. But usually that's fine. I'm only using it while sitting at my desk anyway. I went with DJ headphones. Wired, no mic, and designed for long sessions. That's a fantastic idea, actually. But I'm sure they were not cheap. Cheaper than your Bluetooth headphones? Oh, interesting. Link it. Here.
trying to undo a knot of yarn here. All right. Ow, that even happened.
Now, for a little bit of excitement, that was the last stitch I needed for the Crest of Hope. Crest of Hope is done. Get this yellow. This long. And that is it. The hope is done. Remove this yarn. Round a bit. And I think okay. Time to throw away the yellow gold thread. Indeed, it is done. Turn here so I don't lose. Or is that over to here? Okay, good. Excellent. Golden moment. There are old yarns attached to the blanket. Hey, Alk. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. Busy. So much yarn. Good. Nerds are doing a new candy that's basically a gusher covered in nerds. Huh. Interesting. Can't decide if I would like that or not. Probably. Probably not, because I tend not to like gushers. I tend not to like gummy candies in general. I do really like nerds, though. Or at least I did when I was younger. It's a little bit too much solid sugar for me. Nerds clusters, huh? Interesting. Yeah, I tend not to like gummies. And it's fully a texture thing. Ah, I see. That makes sense. So what you're telling me is you're eating them for the greater good. It's very noble of you, Randa. I'm trying to think what my favorite candy is. I do like Starburst. But as far as like, don't hand me a bag of these, I will eat the entire thing, it's probably nonpareils, which are basically just semi-sweet chocolate chips with sprinkles on top. For a long time, we could get them under the brand name Snowcaps, but like you can just find nonpareils in like chocolate shops and stuff. I will just devour an entire bag of those if given the option. Oh yeah, Snowcaps were like my go-to movie snack. Anytime we went to the theater, it was a box of Snowcaps, and it would be gone within like the first 15 minutes of the movie. Excellent. Oh man, I have this bag. I bought a bag of this for Desert Bus to like snack on during Desert Bus, and I have now had to buy a second bag because I've run out of the first bag. I have a snack mix that is peanuts, chocolate covered peanuts, dark chocolate covered peanuts, candied peanut, well, pralined peanuts, mini peanut butter cups, and peanut butter peanut butter chips, and mini pretzels. And oh my god, I will just sit there and eat handfuls of that. It's so good. It's all of my, like, favorite snack items. Give me dark chocolate covered peanuts and I'm dead. I will eat all of them. Weirdly though, not really peanut M&Ms, I think because there's not enough chocolate. It's just kind of shell and peanut. M&M's is also bad chocolate. That's also true. Also that. The only M&M's worth eating are mini M&M's. And I don't know what makes them different, they just are. Ratio? Yeah, probably. I think the mini M&Ms literally have a different shell formulation to make it like thinner for the mini M&Ms, and I think that's why I like it better. Regular M&Ms, I think the shell is too thick. But I do like Reese's Pieces though, so who knows? Oh yeah, I know that Yalk. The candy that looks like colorful aquarium gravel, but it's rocks of candy coated chocolate. Yes, I love those. Does it do stuff for you texturally in a good way or in a bad way? Because it could go either way. Because you're right, it is basically aquarium gravel. Oh, Randus, if you like nerds, I would recommend the aquarium gravel. It's a similar crunchy texture, but with chocolate in it. I'm counting. Words are about the sweet tang, not the texture. Okay, fair enough. Valid distinction. Makes me feel like one of those filter fish that just sucks up all the rocks on the bottom of the stream and then spits them out. Yup. eat the rocks. It's fine. Candy-coated sunflower seed? Huh. I don't think I've ever had those, but that does sound like it would be delicious. Yeah, it's the sweet and salty. I would definitely try that, yeah. Okay. Speaking of sweet and salty, this is a slight departure from candy discussion, but it's in the same realm, so go with me. And it's probably going to stir up some controversy because I am well aware my family is weird. So, I have been told all of my life by everybody else that my family does things backwards. Because my mom will eat a slice of tomato sprinkled with sugar, and we will eat chunks of melon, specifically cantaloupe usually, sprinkled with salt. Like if I'm having cantaloupe, especially like really nice ripe sweet cantaloupe, I have to sprinkle it with sugar, or sorry, with salt. That's normal? Okay, because I've had people tell me that it's backwards and that you would put salt on a tomato, which just seems disgusting to me. Also, hi Kate! Welcome in. I hope your other game that you're cheating on us with was wonderful. Recap went well. I believe Kits gasped in delight upon the revelation that Light is now a were-raven. Salt melons and apples. Ooh, I've never thought about salting an apple. Oh, that's a good idea. I should try that. I've never thought about salting an apple. Oh no, why is this here? It's fine. It'll work. Not pulling the entire row. In a pattern. Yeah, no, this. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. Because the other players had a bloodlust and then a regret. Uh-oh. Yeah, Chief by default is still in charge, like Droop. Droop's in charge. Darn. trickiest. Alright, now we're in business. Oh no! Or Mo. So sad. You mean someone as in someone mysterious or someone as in one of the players? Poor Mo. He had so much to live for. There were so many cans left to eat. A cult, you think? Ah, yes. The classic D&D conundrum. Probably this. Oh, that yarn. Not even a cat hair. That's a me hair. Ooh, a cult of weregoats. That seems distressingly plausible. reminder, if you haven't gone to eat yet, you should go eat. Includes you, Kitay. Also, if you need to do laundry, you should really put on laundry. Oh. That is another row down. Rest of Hope officially finished. Kindness and Reliability officially started. And I am one row closer to figuring out what colors I'm going to use for the Digivice. Because I haven't yet. Or rather, I know what colors I want to use. I just haven't got the yarn for them yet. Because it took me a while to decide what colors I'm going to use. But that's still like 7 rows away. We've got time. Flip this monster over again. Eh. I think would be a lot easier if I didn't have to really do it. You don't say, SJ. Wonderful observation. Writing a stat block for a weregoat. Turns. I have not actually watched Fairy Tale. It was popular while I was exactly too busy to watch anime. I never got around to getting into it. That. Oh, I see. That goat has a lot of abs. That goat has too many abs. How have you gotten so tangled already?
as you might expect, Crest of Reliability actually this to design in full art, considering it's all straight. The most difficult was honestly probably the Crest of Light, because its little diagonal thingies did not want to come out looking nice for a while. I actually had to make it bigger to make it turned out looking for the best. I really like how it looks now, but gosh, it took a while to get there. The rest of them were pretty okay because they're symmetrical for the most part. Kindness was kind of annoying, but I mostly just kind of added pixels here and there until it looked right. The Digivice was also pretty annoying design, but I like how it is now, so I'm not messing with it anymore. Have to give it a try, Randus. I've always kind of meant to and just never gotten around to it. Oh, yeah, so I've posted pictures of the pattern in various places. I'm just not streaming it because I'm looking at it on my laptop, which is not hooked up to the streaming computer. So I actually don't have a way to stream it. I could add a static image. I just haven't. That said, finishing up here fairly soon. Hear the sounds of Kara making lunch, and I am in fact pretty hungry. So I will wrap it up. But thank you all for coming and hanging out. This is a very large project, as you can tell. I'm going to be working on this for the foreseeable future. So thank you for coming and keeping me company while I work on it. I actually have tomorrow off because the Canadian government, in all its wisdom, wanted a long weekend in February, and so made one up. So I'm home tomorrow. I'm kind of thinking I might stream some Infinite Fusions at some point tomorrow. So if you're around and you want to stop by and hang out for that, by all means. Otherwise, I should be back next Sunday. And there will be more of this and another D&D recap, since we do have a session next Saturday. So yeah, everybody, I hope to see you all in the future. We got a bank holiday every month. Yeah, that was basically their idea. They're like, they wanted a long weekend in February, so they made one up. It's Family Day. And I'm gonna spend it with my family, with my wife and my cat and all of my abomination children. But yeah, I hope to speak to you all in the future. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, especially these days. And I will talk to you all in the future. I'll also be a smart lady. On my stitch. Makes it much easier to move this honkin' big blanket thing.
Everybody have a great Sunday, and I will talk to you later.